Hey guys, this is Builder, and this is a video of my game with me in Hardcore versus MasterMishi and Hamilcar. And I start out with a decent start spot. I have a couple of wheat resources. My teammate there had, a couple of wheat, which gives you which you can get extra food from with the granary. And my teammate here, Hardcore, starts with only one granary resource, but it's still a decent amount. We'll still go for the granary start. He has the nice 3 food tile to start, which is a nice thing to start. Which is a good thing to start with. I haven't done an intense analysis of which tile you get more from, working a 2 food, 1 hammer tile, or a 3 food tile. I'll get my monument done before him, but he'll get he'll grow first, so I'll probably be able to get my granary in first, which will probably put the 2 food 1 hammer tile above the 3 food tile. We're just waiting around for the other team. The other team hasn't ended their turn yet. They're probably talking about strategy. If you look where my teammate settled, I think Hardcore could have settled on the hill right below him, the forested hill, not the deer tile. It would have given him an extra hammer right away, and he wouldn't have been able to work the cow tile. But if you build a monument right away, you gain your second tile pretty quickly after you grow to 2 population, so that wouldn't have been too bad. If you can see, I'm in the back. You can see the gray area to our right, which means both of our opponents will be to the left. So I'm not on the front, I'm behind. I'd rather be on the front. I'd rather be handling more of the fighting, but I guess you take what you get. Again, we're using TeamSpeak this game. I guess a lot of people just don't care about the videos. Because they don't want to ditch a possible advantage in the game by using the chat instead. We're doing our pretty standard start, the granary start, and we do that a lot because the granary is so strong on the plains. With the you get a lot of resources which get +1 food when you build the granary. So instead, the granary gives the 2 base food, and then for me, I'll get a couple extra food from the 2 wheat resources I have nearby, which will help me out quite a bit. Which will it essentially doubles how good the granary is. So at that point, you pretty much have to build it. Well, you don't have to build it, but it's a really good thing to be building early if you want to grow your city. If you're gonna just train settlers right away, it might not be a great thing, but because the settler stops your growth in your city, and you can just work hill tiles without starving while you're training a settler. So the extra food isn't that helpful. It still can help a little bit, because excess food does get turned into hammers, but you don't get the +50% from collective rule like you do with the hammers. Collective rule increases the speed you train settlers in your capital or increases production of settlers in your capital by 50%. And that 50% only increases the hammers. It doesn't increase excess food. So it's better to be increasing your hammers, obviously, than your food. And so Hardcore crashed into a English warrior. There's a couple mountains there. It looks like that'll pretty much be our front, right about where his warrior is standing right now. That's what the land we'll be fighting over, and once one person starts pushing the other back, it'll be because we have a bigger army or because they have a bigger army. We'll try to get probably a city around there to be nice and defensive. Well, some people have told me that it's not a great idea to be getting defensive cities just for the sake of defensive cities. It probably depends on how many cities you like to build. If you like to build a lot of cities, then it might not be, then it's probably not that bad of an idea. But if you only like to build a couple of cities and you're reliant on national wonders and stuff, it might not be a good idea to build a city in just for defense. And so right now, me and Hardcore are trying to team up on the enemy, on the warrior, the English warrior. And as you can see down below, the Egyptian warrior has come. We both try to kill him off, and we don't quite manage it. I get a move in before he does, but before the English player does, but Hardcore can't or doesn't. The problem with England is that they have no bonus up until Longbowmen, but once they get Longbowmen, you're pretty much done. They start a replacement of the Crossbowman unit, which is a unit which is pretty strong as it is, but it's hard to use offensively. But just for defense, it's absolutely amazing. But they get the +1 range, allows it to pretty much kill off anything it gets near. Or it doesn't even have to be nearby anything to attack it, and you can't even get nearby it before you've been attacked by 4 longbowmen. I mean, if you have 4 longbowmen in a row, and then I don't know, they're just really tough to deal with. So essentially what you want to do is you want to cripple the English player as soon as possible. I took the free worker because I'm trying to grow my capital up a little bit. I had a couple of resources, so my capital is going to grow really quickly, and so I'd rather not waste that while training a settler, or while building a city with my free settler from Liberty, which would put me into unhappiness. I train a couple of workers, get those guys out because they don't stop your growth. And there's only so many warriors you want to build before you get to ironworking, because if you look at my gold right now, I have 95 gold. 95 gold, which means I'll have about enough for 2 upgrades, and 55 gold an upgrade. So I'm going to build something else. I don't really want a ton of scouts. Some other people do that, but I'm not very good at using scouts. I always get them killed. So I don't build more scouts, and one of the few things left to build is a worker. So that's one of the things I build. I chop the forests first because you want to get rid of those as quickly as you want to get the chops out as quickly as possible. The chop earlier is better than later because, again, the hammers you don't have as many hammers early. And the barracks would take way too long. I don't want to train a settler right now because I'm 1 turn away from growing, so I'll just train a little scout. I might even switch from the scout to switch to a settler after I've grown to switch from a scout to a settler once I hit 5 population, because the extra population just gives you more hammer and gold and stuff. But I'm 1 turn away from finishing off that settler, so I think I'll just finish it off. And so I looked at my city, and I saw that the iron tile was going to be claimed pretty soon. You saw it was in pink. I flashed in pretty quickly. That's one of the things I could slow down in my videos. You saw it again right there. If you want to pause the video, maybe go back and pause it. You can see I'll be claiming it soon. 3 turns till I get it. And so I'm going to start chopping the forest maybe. Maybe I'll wait until I actually gain the tile, because you get more hammers from chopping from chopping a forest that's in your cultural borders as opposed to outside. You still do get hammers from chopping a forest outside your cultural borders, but it's like 50% less, I believe. And also, I try to avoid training settlers before I get the other liberty policy for training settlers, just because 50% faster is a lot faster. And as you can see, the MasterMishi has some iron units already. He improved it pretty quickly. I chopped the forest before it got into my cultural borders, which, I don't know, isn't completely efficient, but iron is something you really need to hook up quickly. And my teammate wasn't going to get any iron very quickly, so I needed to get it as fast as I could to him. Because again, you trade resources pretty freely when you do teams. You could buy an iron tile for like 65 gold or something, but I told him not to do that because that's a lot of gold. That's pretty much a warrior into a swordsman. And again, you want to avoid buying tiles as much as possible. And see, I get the tile now, so I can start mining it. I'll be able to hook it up in a couple of turns. It's another thing that the Liberty policy helps. It helps you hook improve tiles more quickly, which is a very strong policy over a long time, because it's one tile for every improved tile, and you want to improve pretty much every single tile you work, plus, you know, strategic and mining luxuries. So it's a pretty big, actually, bonus, I'd say. And right now, my teammate needs some help, so I'm going to start sending units over towards him. I'll get a barracks out pretty quickly because the barracks is almost it's a nice thing to get as quickly as possible. You know, with the barracks you get the extra promotion for your unit, and yeah, that's pretty strong. So again, and it doesn't cost that much maintenance, so essentially you want to have it, it's just how quickly you want to get it. So I gave my teammates some iron, but not all of my iron, so I can still build some iron units. There's a swordsman right there. That's trying to sneak up and around the mountain. So again, with the scout, you don't want to get hit by a swordsman, because they can probably kill a scout with just one shot. I gave him the iron, so now he has plenty of swords. He's pretty well defended. I'm sending my settler out for a nice city spot far to the left along this river. I want to get a city more in the front so that I can kind of take some of the load off of hardcore. Yeah. Another interesting thing about the barracks is that sometimes I don't like the barracks to get the promotions, because it slows down how quickly you can get insta-heals. But if you're going to have an entrenched warfare where you're just sitting there and you're just fortified, promotions will help defensively more than offensively. I don't know, it's strange, but then the promotions also help offensively. It's complicated. I haven't really even figured it out myself, so I'm trying to get hardcore to push on the swordsman because he has more. The British player has 2, or the English player, I think that's what they are. I want him to attack, but it's really hard to communicate what you want to do, even through TeamSpeak. It's faster when you can actually talk to the other player, but it's still not very fast. So we're getting the wheel, which is a nice, which gives you the roads, which you don't want to build too quickly, because otherwise you'll wreck your economy. And the watermill, which is a very strong building. And then there's the attack him with the last guy, and he does it at the end of the turn, which is probably not a great thing, because as you can see there, it allows the English player to kill off the final swordsman. If he would have been able to move the last swordsman at the end of the turn instead of the start of the next turn, he would have been able to save that unit and keep MasterMishi from taking one of his. Anyway, he lost a couple of units. I think the English player did too. Did as well. Kind of a stalemate. I think we could have leveraged that a little bit more if we had coordinated a little bit better. And then, of course, once he gets the insta-heal, he's in a much more dominant position. I'll be settling that city up there. I was talking about the wheel while you want the wheel. The roads are nice, but you want to wait a while before you build them. You want your cities to be a decent population. The watermill is a very strong building. It's like almost like a granary, except it's a little bit more costly, and it gives you a hammer. But if you don't have granary resources, I would say it's a better building. You have to be on a river to use it, which is really a significant reason to be on a river, because rivers are really good tiles, or you want a lot of your cities to be on rivers anyway, because they give you the extra gold. They just give you a ridiculously larger amounts of gold. I mean, if you look at all my cities, all the tiles I'm working are river tiles, meaning, or almost all of them, meaning I'm getting +1 gold in all of those tiles. So if I weren't on rivers, I'd have, like, I wouldn't be making any gold right now, and instead I'm making 7 gold per turn. See, if you look, 1, 2, I have 5 population, I'm working, see, 2 river tiles, 2, 1, so 6, yeah. I'm making 6 gold per turn by being all along rivers, which is a really big amount, a really large amount. I'll be moving my scout up around just to make sure they don't start sneak attacking. The scouts are very nice in hilly terrain because they can move. You know, they don't really have any movement bonus in open terrain. The movement bonus only helps you if you're moving through rough terrain. And we'll be getting mathematics early because the British player, because we want to attack early. And York looks like a very good city to take with catapults. It's on hills, which means the swordsman can't approach it very quickly. And so we'll be able to and it's also kind of a choke point, so we'll be able to set up the catapult and have a swordsman right in front, directly to the right of York. And that will allow us to just bombard the city without him being able to do anything about it. And then we'll be able to take York. And then, who knows, we'll go from there. My cities are growing very nicely. I'm not going to build too many cities this game. I only have, I believe, 3 luxuries, so that's a good metric of deciding how many cities to build, is how many unique luxuries you have. So like you say, okay, I have 3 luxuries, I'll build 3 cities, or I have 3 luxuries, I'll build maybe 4. If there's exceptions to that rule, for example, like with Persia, like I am, you want to maybe have a little bit less cities so you can get more happiness, maybe to get your golden age quickly. With France, you want to have more cities because you're getting a bunch of culture from all the cities. And with Egypt, you want to build a lot of cities just because you can get so much happiness from their unique building. The burial tomb, which is like it's a cheaper version of it's like well, in addition to the Colosseum, it gives you 2 happiness. You know, it costs the same hammers as a Colosseum, and yet it still gives you the same amount of happiness and culture, and it doesn't cost any maintenance. So it's a very good building, and you can get it in addition to the Colosseum. So I tried to, I think, take maybe one of my scouts or one of my workers with that scout, but kind of failed. Should have just waited, maybe till he saw a worker before he moved up to get my worker. and I had a scout in the area, so the bombard, I'll be able to attack him and do some serious damage. And I'm gonna keep on gifting units to hardcore, because it's a lot easier to have one player kind of managing units in an area, because you can get them to switch tiles and such more easily, or just maneuver more easily. I'm trying to sneak a scout up and around, but that kind of failed because he has a city at the top of the map, so I can't sneak around it. And once you see the scout, he's going to be ready for like me trying to sneak around, getting into his iron or something. But I'm able to get his scout, which is nice. I got Hardcore has units protecting the more top area that we're fighting over. Getting a Republic, nice social policy. Hammers are very valuable, and Republic gives you hammers, so it's a nice social policy. Not probably as good as the worker or the settler, but still a nice thing to get. I'm just checking how much iron MasterMishi has, to see if he'd be vulnerable to us pillaging it. And he has, according to the diplomacy thing, he has no iron, which is very good, because it means he has, it means that if we pillage anything, he'll go into a strategic resource penalty. And at this point, I'll pick up the pyramids, which is a nice wonder. The pyramids get you 2 free workers, and they let your workers work faster. And it's only a little bit more than the cost of 2 workers in the first place. And so you want to have about 1 worker per city, and I only have about 2 workers right now. So the pyramids will put me up right about to the right amount of workers for my civilization, and it will give me faster workers. So in that way, it's a good thing to be building. I took the site promotion on my scout. With scouts upgrades, you pretty much want to go for the either you need to insta-heal to save the unit, or to keep it, wherever you're using it quickly, or you want to go with the site promotion, which is very helpful because it allows you to sneak up on stuff before they can see you, because the site range for most units is only 2, and so boosting it up to 3 is very helpful. For my new cities, I mostly get the granary right away, and then maybe a watermill, and then a monument. And then I start building units. I try to only build units in cities that are already kind of developed So for example, my capital is pretty developed. It has mostly improved tiles. It has all the economy buildings in it. Maybe except for a watermill. I don't know if I've built a watermill yet. So right now, since we have mathematics, I'll be trying to get some catapults to bombard the English, because the catapults are really effective in hills, because they can shoot over hills, and their units can't move as quickly over hills, and you get the defensive bonus for your own units protecting the catapults. So we'll be able to use catapults pretty effectively. As you can see, MasterMishi has only grown his capital of London to 3 population, which is pretty low. Me and Hardcore are currently at 6 population. Both of us are at 6. So we're at double his population. It's probably because he's been training a lot of settlers, getting a lot of cities out. Maybe he didn't start with granary resources to grow his city as much. As you can see, we have a pretty nice front going between me and between our team and their team. And you want to almost always have your units fortified. It's just so they are always suffering a penalty if they try to attack. It looks like the British player, English player, has more swordsmen than we do right now. But that's okay. I don't think. I think we're pretty safe right now. We won't be able to push through the units fortified on hills. And another problem right now is that we're kind of running out of iron. I've used up pretty much all of my 6 iron because I gifted some to him, and I'm building some more. And he has quite a few iron units, so it'll be difficult to get some catapults up. We'll need to get catapults to start pushing the English player before he can get to machinery to build his longbowmen. I see thieves, which is at 3 population as well. Strange, 3 population. I guess they were following each other's strategy or something. He has 1 wheat nearby England. I didn't see another one. Hardcore built walls in, what is this city? Edirne, which I don't really completely agree with. And generally, once they start trying to take your city, the city is not doing so well. I mean, I guess it could help a little bit, but it's nice when, like, a puppet, for example, builds a walls, because there's nothing better it can build. But because that can really make it tougher to take the city. But with your own production, you can build like other stuff to build up the city first, or other units to defend the city once the city is built up. And building a library, I think that's because me and Hardcore were kind of on a different page strategy-wise. He was trying to go for a national college, whereas I was trying to kind of go more aggressive military to try to attack the English player. Because I feel like once he gets to crossbowmen, we're not going to do so well. So we should try to kill him before he gets there. And now that I have the pyramids, I can chop forests in 1 turn. And the reason I'm chopping forests is so that my catapults will be able to shoot over them. Normally, when you have a catapult or have any ranged unit, hills allow you to shoot over forests, but only forests that are on flat terrain below them. If the forest is on a hill, you can't shoot over the forest hill, so you need to chop the forest. So I'm kind of planning ahead for that, for once we get the catapults into position. I'm going to build a city up there just so I can kind of hold down that area defensively a little bit. It's just, I think it's helpful. Maybe it would have been better just to put units up there instead, because I'll need to defend the city anyway. And my happiness won't do so well because of that. Although there is silver up there, so that's a nice thing to be claiming with that new city. It'll put me up to 4 luxuries, so I'll be able to have 4 cities. Although it will take me a while to gain that tile. And I don't want to move up to gain the tile, because if I move up, then I will be more vulnerable to attack. I'm founding the city 1 hill back, so that you can't, it's much more difficult to bombard with bombardment units, or like move from far away up to attack it. So we've built more units. I'm starting to chop forests. so we can bombard with catapults. And once we start bombarding with catapults, they'll have to pull back if they don't want to get their units killed. And we'll be able to push them back into York, and then we'll put a unit to the right of York, bombard it with a couple of catapults, and take the city. Because the catapults will be able to bombard faster than the city will be able to heal, and they won't be able to attack any of our units because it's in a choke point. Another thing we do is trying to move at the end of the turn so the other team doesn't have a chance to react to our movements. Founding a city up there, and already the English player started to attack it, and I will be defending it as well as I can. Sending my worker down to go improve the wheat tile, because wheats are good tiles. As you can see, he was threatening my scout with a swordsman, so I'm just running away from that. My other scout. Again, I'm trying to pester them. I mean, at least that swordsman is one less swordsman he has that's attacking or defending, as the case may be. And right now I'm just kind of running away. I don't think either of my scouts will survive because there's a swordsman coming. But, I don't know, does a swordsman cost more than a scout to produce? Than 2 scouts to produce? I'm not really sure. I'm going to try to improve my die, because I believe that's a unique luxury I haven't hooked up yet. With my cities, I almost always try to found either on a hill or on a luxury. Founding on a river is also important. So like for Susa, I found it on a luxury. For my Pasagrad, I found it on a hill. For Ectabana, I found it on a hill as well. And with my capital, there wasn't anything really nearby to settle on. If I could have moved over, say, to the Firs, which was up and to the right of my city, but the problem with that would have been it moves you away from your iron. You always start with iron within 2 spaces of your starting spot, and if you move your settler, you're moving away from that, generally. So I didn't want to risk not being able to hook up iron early. That would have been bad. And I'm able to catch one of his scouts in open terrain, so hopefully I'll be able to kill off a scout before my own scouts die. Looks like I'm kind of making a mistake there, trying to attack him with that guy. Oh, that was a big mistake. You see, the combat odds kind of went against me, and and so we only did equal damage, even though he had the 10% open terrain penalty. And then he was able to kill off mine because my scout was in open terrain. And then his other scout got away, so that was a pretty bad confrontation for me. So again, I'm giving my teammate more iron. Hopefully we'll be able to get some catapults up and take York, and then push on to be able to conquer England. And I'm able to kill off one of their scouts, so I get something out of it, which is nice. I'll move into that tile with my swordsman because there's no other swordsman. The English player doesn't have he only has that one swordsman there, so he can't attack me with 2 swordsmen, and you won't be able to kill off my swordsman with just 1 attack. I think, what's his name? Hardcore tried to push the English player, and I don't think it worked very well. He got a unit killed by accident, on accident. I didn't see exactly what happened, so I'm not really sure. But the catapult will do some decent damage. My scout dies. That was sad. Looks like he just retreated. Or actually, no, he can't see the tile because catapults can only see one tile away, which is a problem. But the thing is, generally you have other units supporting, so it's generally not a problem. But here it is, because he is unable to see the tile which the catapult should be bombarding. I'll be moving my immortal up to be able to see the tile next turn. I'm not quite sure, but MasterMishi offers me a peace deal. I'll be, again, moving up to attack. I have another catapult which I'm bringing in to position. I'll slide my immortal in that, and there's only one tile I can't see, so that I know there can only be one swordsman in that tile. So my immortal will not get killed off by that. And if he tries to, the catapult will bombard and kill him. So now I'll be able to chop the forest, which he is standing nearby, so I can get another catapult bombarding that unit. Or even an archer, or a chariot archer, for that matter. Chariot archer has 7 range strength, so it's a little bit stronger than an archer. And sometimes that range strength will make the difference between, say, a 1 damage bombardment and a 2 damage bombardment. I think I should be getting workshops up in my city right now, because there's nothing really good to be building right now. I can build chariot archers, which require a horse, which are pretty valuable. Oh yeah, and I just hit my golden age. I adopted the policy, so now all my units will be able to move at 3 tiles per turn, which is very nice. Or, yeah, at least 3. Some will move more, some less. Or no, none less. At least 3 is the minimum. That's kind of the point of what I said. So see, my scout can be super fast, and it'll zip out there, and I'll try to see if I can use my extra speed, which he doesn't expect, to maybe get to some iron. But there's a swordsman right there, so it doesn't look like that's going to work out. However, we are pushing on the other city, on York, with other units, which is very good. I'm able to kill off the swordsman. And if you see a swordsman, you attack it, and then it becomes unfortified, you really want to finish off that unit right then and there, because that means that the unit is about to get a promotion, and your opponent will probably choose to get an insta-heal, and then kill off your units, which you just used to attack. So if you see that, you might want to take a little bit more of a risk while doing that. And he kills off my scout before I'm able to get away. But we're still pushing on the English city of York, and hopefully we'll be able to take a lot of stuff and ruin his game, and win us the game. Should build a workshop in that city, but I don't, because the workshop is a strong building. Gets you a lot of hammers, which you wouldn't otherwise have. And I'm kind of fooling around with the English units, because they can't catch up to me, so I can just go in, run, and distract them from us trying to take the city. And so we'll keep on bombarding with our catapults and, what are they called, war chariots. And as you can see, we're doing some serious damage, and all they can do is retreat. They can't attack the units that I have, because you can't really sneak a horseman around or anything, and you can't just power through my units because they're fortified on hills. So that's very good. And then unfortunately gets an instant heal. He kills off my mortal. And we are in the process of, we just push forward a little bit. Hardcore might have been a little bit energetic or anxious to push forward. Maybe should have been a little bit more careful in attacking. Ideally, I'd have control of all the units right now, because I have the Golden Age giving me the extra moves, but that would be impractical, and I don't know how we could have planned that a little bit better, but we could have. We definitely could have planned that better. I'll be getting currency, just because I'm losing gold right now, I guess. And I was able to destroy one of his swordsmen, which is very good. And as you can see, I can move 2 tiles per turn with the Golden Age, which is very helpful. So I can just slide units out through the hills. And I'll be setting up. I'll start to take some shots at York. I'll get a Coliseum in my hill city, just because it's not gonna probably build very many units. I have nice happiness right now. My cities are all growing. I'm in the Golden Age for the extra gold, even though I'm still losing gold. So once that Golden Age ends, I will lose quite a bit of gold. So how I'm using what are they called, chariot archers, is kind of like how you can use scouts, is that I'm just kind of putting them in the middle of stuff, and if they try to take my unit, they'll get, like, say 2 damage, and that'll be enough to kill off their unit, so they won't attack it, and so I can just do extra damage. With improvements, I try to work on hammers before I get farms. I'll try to get a granary up, and then I'll try to mine a hill. So kind of the point of the granary is to so you can grow while still working a hill, so you can get the short-term hammers and the long-term growth. Again, with the swordsman in that spot, you don't want him to be attacking the city, and you want to wait to attack the city until it's down to minimum health, and then you take it. Right now, one thing I could do with my chariot archer is just gift it to the hardcore, so he could use it a little bit more effectively. So if he really needed to, he could move the unit out of the way to attack. And as you can see, he just right there killed off my chariot. And now he's dead because he tried to move in. And again, a chariot archer costs less than the cost of a swordsman, so that's a profitable investment for me. We have long swords now, so we'll be able to press some more. I used my... I don't remember recording that. Maybe... Oh, he must have gotten his Liberty Great Person before me. But he chose a great scientist and used it on steel, so we can get long swords. And we're going to have to press pretty aggressively right now to be able to take out the British or English. And so I'm just sliding units through, maybe a little bit more aggressively than I would otherwise. Just improving some tiles. You know, we're pressing on York. We'll probably be able to take it next turn, which will be nice. York is a decent city. It has settle on a luxury. It's 3 population, so I think it'll come out as 1 after we conquer it. And if you look at my manufactured goods, they're pretty good, because it's good manufactured goods. So it's really hard to tell jokes when you don't know who's listening, because you don't know if any people laughed or not. We'll see if he will be able to retake York with a couple of swordsmen, because that's kind of forcing the issue, which could be a good thing for us, because we want to kind of trade equal units, because he has a lot less hammers than I do. So I'll be able to, if we trade units equally, I will have more units left over than he will. And that's kind of what happens if you start attacking the city. So now that a couple of my chariot archers died off, I can start training some horsemen, which is a nice unit. As you can see, he just raised the city, so that MasterMishi couldn't take it back. And right now we still kind of have control of the hills with our catapults, and so we're able to do some nice damage there. And we're still trying to press. We're still trying to take the English cities, because even though we've taken one city, and they'll have pretty bad manufactured goods, that probably won't be enough to stop the longbowmen. We'll need to take even more cities to cripple the English. And there's a Egyptian swordsman kind of harassing the city down below, which isn't that big. Just moving horsemen, as getting horsemen to the front just to get a nice unit balance going, so I'll be able to get lots of different types of units. My golden age has ended, so my units now have the normal base movement. And as you can see, the other team has got long swordsmen, or at least one long swordsman. And the only way you can get those is to research it. I give my unit the promotion and kind of move it out of the way. And right now I'm trying to be careful with my horsemen, because they might have a lot of units behind the fog where I can't see it. Again, they're wasting bombardment strength on the chariot archer, which is what I kind of like. It's a space filler, gives you flanking bonuses and such. And then he gives me a swordsman, which is actually a really bad thing to be doing, because now I have less iron than I can use, or I have less iron than I have less iron than I have units, so I'll get the penalty for now. Hopefully, hardcore, or not hardcore, MasterMishi probably hopefully won't start attacking me soon, because if he does, it could be bad with the penalty. But my units are all fortified, and that bonus cancels out the defensive bonus you can get. I'm debating whether to attack the long swordsman, and then I just decide to go for scout. And I'd advance my catapult, but that would make it vulnerable. And as you can see, he now has longbowmen, which is Not good. I'm not quite sure what I was trying to do right there. Maybe I was trying to take their great general. I might have been able to do it, I'm not quite sure. So I get my great scientist. I think I chose him twice. And I will use him on machinery, so that we will both be able to build crossbowmen. And I'm still in the strategic resource penalty, so I really don't want to be pushing forward with iron units. And I will gift the iron unit back to my teammate, so that I will go back to 0 iron. I won't be in negative iron. And so what I'm trying to do is, I think that he has quite a bit of his military focus down below to defend against the longswordsmen, so maybe I'll be able to push up towards Nottingham and maybe take Nottingham. And I give back the unit, so I get back my iron. And I also give him the chariot archer to get, just so that he could maneuver it around more easily, because I was kind of getting in the way. So I'm going to try to push on Hastings, and I don't have very many melee units, so that could be a problem. And he has longbowmen, which are just absolutely, as bad as they are attacking someone, they're even worse when you're trying to defend. As you can see, I tried to get a horseman up on them, but they just killed it, because after one shot it did so much damage that there's nothing you could do. So I'll try to move a catapult into position, and maybe 2 catapults into position, and just start bombarding, and maybe get lucky with a horseman and be able to just sneak in and take Hastings. So I'll be able to do 5 damage about on Hastings with that catapult. With my other catapult, well, I'll be able to take down defenses pretty quickly. But I'm getting a little bit desperate right now because, again, even though we took an English city, they still are getting longbowmen. So they have the worst manufacturing in the game right now. But that doesn't really matter too much, because, again, they have this super bonus. Just protecting my units. Again, they could kill the archer, but it would be certain death for him. So I'll move my great general back just in case he does that. And as I look at Hastings, I actually realize it is completely undefended. So I'll just be sitting there with a catapult with no defense, just kind of bombarding the city. And hopefully he'll have to dedicate a bunch of units to defending against the longswordsmen below. And meanwhile, I will take some shots. I will try to get to their iron again, but that was ill-fated because of the longbowman which was in the city. And right now with my work, I'm just being a little bit silly. I'm building roads on their tiles, which actually helps them more than it helps me. But what it does is it costs them maintenance because it's in their terrain. So it cripples them a little bit. Cripples a little bit. You can be a little bit crippled. Well, I guess you can be a little bit crippled. Again, they killed off my horsemen, and so I was unable to get to their iron. And he's pushing, looks like a little bit at down below. I think I told him to do that. Because we need to start going now. We need to take some cities now before they get a ton of longbowmen out. I'll keep on bombarding Hastings as much as I can. Maybe I could have moved my archer up to get some more bombardments in on the city. And that was probably a mistake. They're building a road across the river so they could come and attack me more easily. The river helps out my catapult because it gives me kind of one turn warning before they're moving a unit towards me. So yeah. But still, it still costs them maintenance. Because it's in their territory. And I can build a road in one turn because I'm a worker. Because I'm a worker. Because I do work. Because of the pyramids. And again, the roads don't even work for me because they are not in my territory. I'll be putting some defensive units up in front of my catapult now. So hopefully I can stay defended. Keep my catapult defended. I'm looking for something to build with my Great Engineer, but there isn't that much stuff to be building. We banned the Great Wall in this game, so nobody can get it. So I say, what the heck? I'll build a manufacturing. Because there's no wonder really we're getting towards that will help me kind of defend myself better. I guess we could build Himeji, but I want to attack more, and Himeji won't help me attack. And then he gets the longbowmen in the city, which is not good. I brought the city down to half health points, which is nice. I use my my immortal as kind of a meat shield for the approaching for the swordsman which came and attacked, so that he wouldn't be able to get to my catapult that turn, and he took some damage. I'll be able to kill him off next turn when he tries to kill off my catapult if I don't get a bombard in fast enough. I'll try to bombard the swordsman with my catapult the following turn before he tries to attack me, and hopefully I will be able to kill him off. And yes, I was able to get to him. Very nice. Oh, wait, no, just kidding. Because of the road I built, he was able to move forward and kill it anyway. So, again, that's why you don't want to build the road actually over the river. You just want to build it on useless tiles somewhere else. But at the same time, he's kind of pushing on hardcore down below, which isn't good at all. I'll just keep on bombarding Hastings for kind of fun. And meanwhile, he has rebuilt York, and it's even still called York. Again, my manufactured goods more than 50% larger than his, and yet he's able to just wipe out my units with the longbowmen. And then he kills off my my catapult, so that pretty much takes away all chance I have of actually taking Hastings, but I'm still going to try to push forward. I'm still trying to attack. If I could have a couple of longswordsmen towards the city right now, I might be able to take it, but I'd take it, but then he'd be able to retake it with longbowmen, because the city is an open terrain, so he'd just be able to surround it and just bombard anything that comes out, and then just bombard the city and take it with like a horseman. Yeah, it's not looking good for us right now. We'll see if we can make a turnaround, but we're researching chivalry, which will give us horses, which are kind of the only semi-counter units to the crossbowmen. And my worker is still building roads in their territory, right around the enemy longbowmen. And so I've built, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 roads, maybe 5. That'll be taking away 5 gold per turn from him, and I'll have to get rid of those roads too. I'll have to send workers over to get rid of them. Maybe if I hadn't built the road over the river, it would have been a good idea, because the road over the river allowed him to attack and kill one of my catapults, which actually was pretty bad for trying to take a city. We're working on chivalry. Maybe I'll be able to get another road in before he captures me. Again, crossbowmen have the same stats or longbowmen have the same stats as crossbowmen, except they just have the extra range. So, and again, he's not sparing units to go attack my worker. He's just letting it sit there and build roads. And so he'll probably get captured next turn, but I've cost him a little bit there, which is kind of nice. And then he takes it out finally. Takes out my worker finally. Again, if you look at just how many times my units are being bombarded in a turn, from units which I can't even see, you can just tell how ridiculous the crossbowman unit is, because it's just all these units that you can't even reach that are just killing all of your units. We'll try to get chivalry. Again, the knight is decent against crossbowmen, or longbowmen, but decent is a relative term because nothing is really strong against crossbowmen. Just they're slightly better units than worse units. I'm going to start building some crossbowmen of my own, maybe for some defense. No, I'll try to be defending myself. And, you know, maybe I'd be able to kill off the the longbowmen if they didn't have melee units. But he's going to have melee units around, so that just makes it more ridiculous, because he can bombard units that are protected behind the melee 2 moves in front of that. So it's like, what that does is that just unbalances the way wars are fought. Because with a lot of wars, what happens, even if you have a strong ranged unit, as long as you're 2 tiles away, more than 2 tiles away from it, they can't get to you. And then if they try to get within 2 tiles from you, you can attack them with your melee units, which can move 2 per turn. But with the crossbowmen, they can bombard from further away than you can attack, or further away than you can even see. So it's like, there's nothing you can do, they just bombard you. And if they want to put a defensive unit in front, they can still bombard a unit that is 2 tiles away from that defensive unit. I'm going to build a citadel, just for fun, because I might as well, and plus it looks really cool on that hill like that. Hopefully I'll be able to hold it. I'm not going to bother putting any unit in it for now, because, or actually just kidding, I will, because the crossbowmen can just shred it to pieces while it's sitting there. The hard part with the citadel will be getting into it and pillaging it, so I will probably only attack a unit if it actually gets into the citadel. If you want to take out a citadel yourself, you should probably try to use a horseman or some other such unit. And the game is almost over at this point. Hardcore's lost most of his army, and if he could probably take either of us if he really tried on either of us. The citadel will make it a little bit tougher for him to take me, but as you can see, he just died doing 1 damage to the longsword. Anyway, as you can see, the longswordsman gets killed off pretty easily, and we got defeated. I put in a part 2, so you can watch that if you want to watch them try to take my citadel. Thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe to my channel.